weather tonight. And according to the Greene County Coroner's Office, an investigation is underway into a possible death caused by the storm.
You're all clear right now on the Dorset Automotive Doppler radar, and we don't anticipate anything. No more watches, no more warnings. We are done. So everything is done for this area. Everything is all clear. I do want to show you, though, the storms are still going on strong down to the south of this area, down across Kentucky. We still have warnings down there. A lot of severe weather to the south. Again, that's all well south of here and moving away.
America doesn't bail out the losers. America was built by bailing out winners, by rigging a nation of the winners, for the winners, by the winners.
So maybe at this point you're starting to notice the game here. They're literally using the weather to destroy anybody's property where they want to build a smart city, or anybody's property that has any type of minerals underneath it. They're not messing around. This is insanity.
Climate change is going to cause a massive increase in foreclosures. This is 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗱, editor-in-chief at Climate Crisis 247, coming to you from New York City. First Street, a research firm that studies the impact of climate change, projects in a new analysis released Monday that foreclosures across the U.S. caused by flooding, wind, and other weather-related incidents could soar 380% in the next 10 years. By 2035, climate-driven events could account for up to 30% of all foreclosures by 2035, up roughly 70% from this year. Here's another example of an indirect part of climate change. People live in homes, they assume that they're safe or they wouldn't move into them. Suddenly, a climate disaster puts them in a situation where they can't pay off their home loans, and bingo, they go into foreclosure.
A terrifying possibility, a 1,000-foot mega tsunami that could devastate 3 major states. It all starts in the Cascadia subduction zone, a massive fault line off the Pacific Northwest where tectonic plates are silently building pressure. This zone has triggered massive quakes before, the last one struck in the year 1700. Now, scientists believe we're due for another one, and it could be the deadliest natural disaster in U.S. history. If it hits, states like California, Washington, and Oregon would take the full force of the tsunami. FEMA estimates over 13,000 lives could be lost and tens of thousands injured.
So you may be asking yourself, how could they possibly set off a volcano? How could they do that? Well, I'll retort with, why is it that these maps have been around for so very long? And the answer to how could they set off a volcano or how could they create an earthquake or some such is variable. But here's the deal. Everybody is under the impression that HAARP controls the weather. HAARP doesn't control the weather. HAARP can do lots of different things, like creating the northern lights in Florida or Arkansas or directly over the HAARP facility. But HAARP can create earthquakes. Period. That's what it does. HAARP can create earthquakes. And of course, if HAARP isn't quite enough, or if their agenda is, pending, they need to get this done right now, well, they can always just use bombs. And there's a lot of proof of that from people that actually experience quote-unquote earthquakes.
Absolutely. That makes me wonder, what did it sound like when the quake was shaking everything? Was the house creaking? What?
That is an excellent question. It sounds like bombs are going off.
Oh.
It's a roar that comes, and then it starts to shake, and as it shakes, it's just a roar.
So for years and years and years and years, we've been getting mystery booms all over the country, and you never get an answer. It's just like the grown-ups are doing something. You children just mind your own business. It's swamp gas, or it's a sonic boom, or it's this, or it's that, or it's a wiffle ball bat, but they never answer the question. Now, this woman right here lives in California and has lived through a lot of earthquakes, and I want you to listen to this news report because this is from 2025, and listen to what she says several times.
What do you experience in Chula Vista?
Well, I was sitting on my by my desk, and what I heard was a small rumble, and it was okay, but then I felt this more of a movement, and then it was like a bump, a big bump. You know, it's like, it felt more like an explosion. It wasn't more of the rocking came later.
So how long did it last?
It was interesting. I would say like maybe 3-4 seconds.
Okay. Now, did you get the alert?
We did get the alert right after the earthquake, but yeah, I mean, it was interesting because as soon as it sounded, you know, it's like, okay, it said drop, cover, and just protect yourself. And it was very interesting. I'm glad that they're doing that. Yes. And one funny thing is that I told my sister, you know, I'm looking at the chandeliers and they're not moving. That was the weird thing.
That is very odd in the sense that you felt like it was, you said it, you described it as a bit of a bomb. And for no
it was like
movement.
a little explosion. Exactly, more like a little explosion. And I thought I was going to go through, you know, the floor, you know, that kind of a sensation.
Now,
and then I heard the more little rattle and then the movement, but just a slight movement. It felt like a slight movement, but it grew up a little bit of a movement, and then it just subsided.
Have you noticed any picture frames knocked over, any kind of disruption of your life, or was it pretty much just everything was fine? Everything was fine, and that was the strange thing about it. You know, nothing was moved. It was just like a stationary thing. It was interesting. Okay. Well, Helen, is this one, have you experienced a few? We were just listening to Dr. Lucy Jones a moment ago, and she said the Elsinore fault frequently has 4.0 quakes. So one more question before we go back to that. I was just curious, have you experienced a lot of earthquakes where you are? Well, in my lifetime here, yeah. We have. In fact, during the Easter season, we had an earthquake at the park. We were having, you know, a feast, and we were sitting down, and we did feel. Now that was strong. I don't remember the number of the earthquake, but yeah, we came home, and some of the doors were open from the balcony, and it was that was a big one. But this one was not as big as the last one.
Okay. Let me jump in here real quick. A lot of you guys have already done this, and for those that haven't, get your money out of your 401k or your IRA as soon as humanly possible and turn it into physical gold and silver. Because these guys, I've never seen so much activity as we've seen in 2025, because I believe they've handed everything over to AI. So it's rapid, it's happening fast, and these guys are, this is happening. This is literally happening. These guys are literally going to destroy the west coast of a country. I mean, how insane is that? And they're going to knock out the power, and we have no idea how long we're going to have to live on our own until the inevitable comes. Do you see what I'm saying? And if you get your money out of the bank and turn it into gold, like a lot of subscribers did, they've literally doubled what the bank was holding. They've literally doubled it. So you should do this or don't. It's your call, at any rate. This right here, this fun little thing just will not go away whatsoever at all. Underwater volcano could erupt on the Pacific coast May 21st, 2025. I've been keeping an eye on this and telling my people that live out in Oregon about this. It isn't just there. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about this all across the board, and they're talking about it up to the minute. You know, does that make sense? They're talking about it every single solitary day on every single platform. May 20th, 2025, 8:58 p.m. Scientists monitoring axial seamount say the deep sea volcano could erupt by late 2025 for the first time. It's all they will talk about. And then we've got mysterious volcanic, not volcanic, I'm sorry. We've got mysterious earthquake activity happening at the same time in that area. And I can't tell if it's part of the deal, but it does make sense when you had those recently, if you recall, we had those explosions we had earthquakes in California, and people were on the news saying it wasn't like an earthquake, it was just like a giant explosion. And I kept thinking to myself, because they're softening up the ground out there, or whatever this volcano is, it's going to be man-made. I know that sounds absolutely ludicrous and ridiculous, but I really do believe they have an app for that, because setting off earthquakes and setting off volcanoes is something that HAARP can do. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is all they're talking about. This isn't an old story. I've been watching this story for a couple of months. I think I've mentioned it in a couple of past videos, but if you live in Oregon, and I know you, I've sent this to you, and you know I have, they're talking about this every single solitary day. That tells me that they're getting ready to do this. And I'm guessing setting off a volcano or making it appear as though a volcano is going off is a hard job. I've done a lot of things on this earth, and the level of difficulty would probably be fairly, I don't know what I just did. Pressing a lot of buttons. I was ready. Is there a Rockefeller Science Center on the Oregon's coast? Is there? Because I've been out there a million times. I didn't see that, but is that a fact, or are you asking? I can't tell. Without a doubt. No doubt they do. Everybody thinks they use HAARP to control the weather. They don't. They use NEXRADs and Dopplers. That's exactly why suddenly the FBI is telling them people like you and I are getting ready to attack them. It's too big. It wouldn't work. You know, there's a lot of things you can do. That ain't one of them. But NEXRAD and Doppler control the weather. They can intensify it. They can mitigate it. If there's a storm coming and they got something they need to do, they can push it in another direction or simply disperse it. Or they can steer it. They just keep lighting these things up and they push it. I mean, you can see it happening right this second. There you go. Which way is the storm going? I mean, you can see it. But they can do that to do all sorts of wacky, fun, little crazy things. And they do. So it's astonishing to me. But to see them in the newspaper saying, well, these storm victims, the only way we can help them is to foreclose on them. Because, I mean, America, man. Absolutely America. It's crazy to me, but they're basically rubbing it in your face, you know, like climate change is coming for your home. These boys are not messing around, and they don't even seem to care if we know or not, because the majority of people are completely and utterly blind to this. They believe it's climate change, which is just insane to me. It's utterly insane to me. We're watching them take words like photosynthesis, like Bill Gates' company Graphite.
When we think about climate change, we need to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The most efficient way to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is to use photosynthesis. It's a natural process that's capturing CO2. Graphite is engaged in what is called durable carbon dioxide removal, and so what that means is we're preserving the carbon captured by plants, keeping it stored for 1,000 years, and we're doing it for the magic number of less than $100 a ton. This is a ton, 40,000 tons per acre of land. Yeah, you're not going to get that any other way. Yeah. We're working hand in hand with the agriculture and timber industries. There's many byproducts associated with that. So we take those residuals, we grind the material up, we dry the material, we then press the material into carbon blocks. Okay, these are small today, we'll make them bigger and bigger over time. And then we encase those blocks in a long-lasting impermeable barrier. So this is really the key to it, because it's all about keeping the biomass dry in perpetuity. We need to think about lowering our greenhouse gas emissions now. And so the notion of affordability is really important in terms of reaching scale. We're at $100 a ton today. We have plans to go well below that, and the idea is, can we make this sufficiently affordable so we can actually achieve our climate goals?
Photosynthesis is no longer the natural order of things where you exhale carbon dioxide, trees inhale carbon dioxide, produce oxygen for you to inhale and repeat and repeat. Bill Gates has completely hijacked the word, and the sad thing is people will listen to it. They don't understand what photosynthesis is. These guys are using the weather as a weapon, exactly as they said they would. Owning the weather by 2025 is now owning the weather in 2025. Handing the keys to all this technology all over the earth to AI has accelerated it exponentially. We've never seen anything like this before. Be prepared. Live every day like it's your last. Love your neighbor. Get on your knees. Pray to God. And if you don't know what to say, ask God, and He'll help you. Every single time. This will come like a thief in the night.
Papa. Spako. Tinan mo.
So for everybody in the Northeast, pay attention. This is May 22nd, 10:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're about to get hit with what they're calling a nor'easter, except you can see this nor'easter seems to be coming directly up from the south. But whatever. But notice the Dopplers. Watch this. Watch this glow. Bam. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's just to find out what the weather is. That's why we're doing that. We need to know the weather. That's what these are. These are so you can get to work and pay your taxes on time. That's what we're worried about, because we care about you, because we're the government. That's what we're here for. We protect you. We make sure that the bank doesn't foreclose on your house after one of these storms comes and washes it away. We're the government. We make sure there's water in the fire hydrants so that when the entire city catches on fire from what appears to be directed energy, we're able to put it out. You know what I mean? We're the government. The first thing we do when we're elected into the highest office in the land is hand $500 billion over to the richest 1% on earth. Period. We're the government. Pay your taxes, shut up, and take your shots. I'm out.